We are at Nefesh Hachaim Perek Vav, and really want to, every once in a while, I like to run through a lot of the text to really not to get carried away with my tangents. Why is everyone sitting so far away? That's the svara we want to make. It's a good thing we don't have like a new building.
It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing.
Right. The Nefesh Hachaim here does an about face almost, or a deeper maturation of the pshat, because until now, Perek Aleph, Beis, Gimel, Dalet, and Hey, to refresh your memories, what we have been learning is that a person, particularly a Yisrael, is really controlling the whole Bria, because the Bria works with worlds, and there's this world, and on top of that, it's the neshama of this world is called the world of Yitzir, and on top of that is the world of Bria, Atzilus, Hashem. But all the way up in the world of Bria is the Nefesh Ha'adam, which is really sitting al Kisei HaKavod. So, and we explained at length that the Adam gets his koach not from the world on top of him. Adam gets a koach from HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. Vayipach ba'apav nishmas chayim. Hashem didn't go through a whole system. It's like some kind of protexia, where you can go around. Like it seems you can not necessarily go through the system. You can just work something, do a workaround, and get our koach straight from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So that gives us a lot of control, and everything that we do and say has hashpah and affects the whole world. So that's what we've been learning. It's a pretty empowering idea to think of our power. And here in Perek Vav, he says, but don't get carried away with this. And I have to say in advance that I'm talking about I'm talking about him, I'm talking about me. Like, it's hard for me to understand. It sounds, sometimes a person wants to say something and then they bring all kind of rayas to the way it is, as opposed to letting this text speak to you. It seems like that's what's going on here. He has some kind of an agenda here in Perek Vav. I call this Perek the Misnagid Perek, because Amna Madayin Ha'inyan Tzarech Be'ir, let's learn a little bit inside, still needs to be explained. Ki huzal, because when we quote Reb Chaim Vital, we understand Dibur B'Kotche Derech Sarah, he speaks in short, in abbreviated terms. Kedarkoi K'B'Chol Kisei HaKadosh Minister, it's like he speaks about all Kabbalah. It's very hard to learn, by the way, Reb Chaim Vital, I do it. It's very hard to learn Reb Chaim Vital. K'Mash Kasad Ba'atzvai, Ba'akdamos Hashem, as he himself writes in his Akdamos, Shumagal Tefach Ha'machas Alpaim Na'amo. That the Reb Chaim Vital's derech is that he's Megala one tefach, but he's really covering up 2,000 amos of Torah, and it's very difficult to understand really what he means from the little bit of a tefach. And it's not really the way we would think. What we were thinking until we're learning now is that we are the nefesh of the elamas. Remember, he said that a neshama, or a nefesh for that matter, the nefesh of the neshama, which is the lowest part of the nefesh ruach neshama. So the lowest part of the neshama is the nefesh, and that nefesh controls that which is underneath it. So if we're the nefesh of the whole world, so it comes out that we're controlling everything. So he says no. Don't say nefesh adam, as if the nefesh which we have within us, asher ezed davar shanefesh oisa huraka idei kli aguf. Because whatever we do in our nefesh, our neshama, what does it mean we do? What does the word mean we do something? We're doing something with our guf, not with our nefesh. In other words, don't think it's just like if I have a feeling I want to do it and I do it, right? My heart says shoot, so I shoot. My heart says give the tzedakah, so I give the tzedakah. So my nefesh, or my ratzon, let's call it ratzon to put it in terms we can understand, is really in charge of what we do. So hava amina, that if we're the nefesh of the whole bria, so that if we want peace, there's peace. If we want war, there's war. If we want health, there's health. Does it work that way? No. Why not? if we're in charge of everything, why not? And then he brings a raya that it's not like that before he explains why not. He's going to explain why not. But he brings a raya. Because if that would be the case, in the Hagah, Hagav Shalafize Yechuyev Haya would come out, Shebeis Hamarasenu Kedusha Labaki. It's like a strange proof that when we say Kedusha, so, right, Kedusha, Kadosh, 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 Hashem Tzvakos. When we say Kedusha, so the Navi tells us that the Malachim are also saying Kedusha. So that's pretty cool. Like we say jump and they say how high. Literally, Kadosh, Kadosh, Kadosh. We're jumping, they're jumping, right? That's what you would think. So when we're doing this little dance here during Kedusha, the whole Bria is jumping. But it's not like that. Chazal Amru, but Chazal say b'Parakid Anosh and Chulin that ain't Malach Hasharis Amrim Shira L'Mala, that the Malach Hasharis don't say Shira in Shemayim Ad Sheyomer Yisrael L'Mata. So that's a proof which way?
Yeah, that we.
Which way?
We control things that we do control.
We do control. So why does he bring this as a proof that we don't control? Because if you look at the nuance of the language, that they wait for us to say Kedusha, then they say Kedusha. It's not like the Malachim are on a puppet string.
It's not a switch.
Right. It's not a switch. It's not a machine that we're activating. Okay, push out the Kedusha now. No. They wait. And it can't be that the Malachim have Bechira because Malachim don't have Bechira. But so if they're controlled by us, so I turn on the light goes on. But the nuance of the language is that Ein Malache Hasharis Oimrim Shira Lamala Ad Sheyoimrim Yisrael Lamata. They don't say Shira until we say Shira. The Nemar, B'ron Yachad Koichvei Boiker. V'hadar v'yariu kol b'nei Elikim. This is Lashon of the Gemara. V'hadar is the big nuance here, the deal. That we say Shira, V'hadar, and then they say Shira. It's mashma, this is learning like a big Rosh Hashiva, learning that we say Shira, V'hadar, and then they say Shira. It's not that we say, it's not a machine. It's not that we say Shira, my nafkamina, like, listen, my nafkamina, but let's just love this first. Like, don't say, right, you gotta be like a real, like a brisker to get this thing over here. It's not the shot that, like, it's a relay switch. It's not the shot that we turn on the switch and all of a sudden the Malachim are saying Shira. We're in charge of the Shira. We're not God. But the Malachim do wait for us to say Shira until they say Shira.
Kavod Labria.
I don't know, but how does this?
Sounds like the Chazan leads it, but everybody knows it too. Like you get to pick exactly what word, but everybody's going to say it anyway. So it's a more passive. It's a timing thing.
But it's not. Meaning, what you're saying is, but it's not that the Chazan is making us say Shira.
We're going to sing anyway. What tune? How fast?
He's the choir leader.
Yeah. So maybe it's like that sort of idea.
So we have two oifanim, and we need to understand the nafkamina. One oifan is that you turn on a tape recorder and everybody's singing. Another one is you're leading the congregation in prayer. So it's what is that? Grama Garmi? Like what is this? It sounds like Iran and Baba Metzia. You know, like what's the Nakuda over here? Messiah. Like what is? So these medak v'lishna v'hadar v'yariu. Tzvei mashma shehem lo yaschilu klal lahaktish yaitzer ba'ad asher yigmru Yisrael shilush kedosa asel b'mata. If you don't do it, we're not going to do it. Beside it. Let's say somebody, I'm just thinking in my own imagination. Let's say you have a bunch of people standing in line to do a high dive. What do you call those things when you dive into the water from 1,000 feet up top?
High
right?
dive.
Okay, high dive. I got it. So, okay, we're all nervous. So the first guy, the Amalek, jumps in. He jumps in. Okay, if he's doing it, I'll do it. But he didn't make me do it. He didn't make me do it. I can still check it out. I can still not do it. I'm still a Baal Bechira. I can still walk the other way. But the fact that he did it, like Amalek jumped into my reference to Amalek is he jumped into the Ambatya Rotachas, and then all the Rishonim jumped in. Okay, everybody, let's kill the Jews. Let's kill the Jews. So you can't. So they should be off the hook. Then, all those Rishonim, because Amalek made me. The devil made me do it. This is the
responsibility.
Right. So that's that sort of Christian idea is it relieves us of responsibility. No, yes, they influenced it. Yes, the Sutton. This is like interesting. I was talking to a guy on Friday. He's writing a book with us, Mosaic Press. So he says he wrote a PhD thesis on the Sutton. A lot of people think of these things, you know. Like I ran out of things to write about. He writes about the Sutton.
From a Torah perspective?
Huh?
From a Torah perspective?
Yeah. There's 13 cases in Shas, he tells me, that the Sutton is mentioned, and he analyzes them and understands what the Sutton is. So, and it's not the thesis of the whole thing is that the Sutton is not like this thing, you know, like a person or an angel or a thing or anything like that. Sorry. Cleaning lady's locked up. It's not like it's any kind of a thing. His point was that it's a something which is going on internally. So I told him something that I say over all the time that you see in the. I heard this from Rav Hutner, that the Gemara says, "Hu Yetzer Hara, Hu Hasatan, Hu Malach Hamavas." So he says, "Yes, Rish Lakish." So he knows his son. So Rav Hutner said that Yetzer Hara is something which is really no gay what we're learning here. Yetzer Hara is something that's outside of us. Like, should I eat it? Should I not eat it? And when you eat it, you make that choice to eat it, so it becomes a sudden. It becomes a contradictory force within us, inside of us. And then if we don't take care of it and do tshuva and cut it out, it becomes the Malach HaMav. So it eats away at us until it kills us. That's the way he understood Reish Lakish. So this guy got all excited. Oh, a footnote. A footnote of the PhD. So, but the thing is that, okay, so this idea of, you know, somehow the devil made me do it is a bit of a pella in relieving ourselves of responsibility. Same thing as Latoiv. Like, we can't take credit for everything good that happens in the world. This is what he's saying over here. Yes, we have an influence on what happens in the world, but it can't take credit for everything that happens in the world, because I daven chakras well, so there was no terrorist bombs, God forbid, and who knows what. So so besides for psychologically, who could handle such a thing? And by the way, I just it's taught I think in many of the schools here that we need to take responsibility, and that's like a bad. I think it's a not such a smart educational. I mentioned the story that at camp years ago, after like during the 9 days, so some kid in camp drowned, I remember, and the head of the camp got up and he's screaming, "This is because of our lashon hara. This is because of our chataim, because we're not nice to each other and sinas chinam and this and that." Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky was there and he said, "Who told? What are you, a navi?" I remember the lashon there, little kid, or "What are you, a navi?" You tell like a bunch of little kids. But what that is exactly what he's saying. Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky is saying exactly what the Nefesh Hachaim says. Take it easy. It's not. Yes, we have an influence on the bria, but it's not like you drown the kid, or if build a brick in the Beis Hamikdash Latov. Every time you do a mitzvah, you're building a brick in the Beis Hamikdash. So every kid is walking around. So where's the Beis Hamikdash? I'm doing mitzvahs all day. It's an influence. It's an environment that we're creating, but it's not.
Sinas Chinam destroyed it.
Right, but it's not like if I hate you, you hate me. That there goes the chimney. Like it doesn't. Yeah.
It says it's right that Masiyah died to Hibidam. Did you try to say Shiur without Am Yisrael saying Shiur first? Is that the
Yes, that was the only case of Isarusa de la Sata. Pesach, can you do me a huge favor? I'm sorry, I apologize to everybody. My phone's going to ring the entire time. I apologize. Would you mind just walking the house and giving the lady standing outside? Thank you. You organize it. Sorry. Thank you. Still such a word. See, I want to say something here, political for a second. That I think that the reason that he's making this point is because he's against the book Tales of the Baal Shem Tov. Meaning that there is this idea that was very popular in his day that you have a problem, go to the tzaddik, and the tzaddik will help you, he will take care of it. And this has become the idea of Hasidic Rebbes on a Yom Hazeh. And it's he didn't, now the argument to say that can be true is, well, if the neshama, the nefesh of Yisrael standing out l'mala me'akisei, so and a like you've got pull, make it happen. So I think what he's saying is not so pashut, that it's a machine that this tzaddik knows where the button is. Not pashut like that at all. But why is this so important? It's important because I'll say my own. It's important because with that type of mentality, what happens is that you lose the whole avodas Hashem. Because it's just like saying lahavdil of havdils, the Sultan made me do it, the Rebbe did a moifus. So if you know the Rebbe did a moifus, it sort of takes away from my whole avoda in terms of what's going on in my life and what's going on in my community and what's going on. That this has my avoda. It's not about let's go to some Rebbe and he's going to fix it. That's what I'm saying. Like, so I'm all for Rebbes. I love Rebbes, but I love tzaddikim. But to say that they've got the remote, they're holding the remote to the TV over here and they're going to make it happen, is a bit of it's a diversion from what we're supposed to be doing. Similarly, I think today even more popular, even in the it's interesting, even the Litvische Rabbanim. I'm just going on this tangent because I think this is what he's talking about. I think even Litvische Rabbanim have become Rebbes in this regard, and it's a sad. I believe it's a sad thing. This is something that changed even in my own lifetime. It's not something, I'm not talking about history, where one would go to a Rav Moshe Feinstein or to the Stipler and talk something over, and it wasn't like there was he seemed to indicate that I should change my name and then everything will be okay. Like it's where's the avodas Hashem? So even by the Nevi'im, the idea was that they were a spiritual guide, a Rav, a Tzaddik, a Hasidic Rebbe, Rosh Hashiva, but to go to it just seems to me, I don't know, maybe someday I'll have charata for saying it, but like to go to some lady and Givat Shol and melts lead and all your problems go away. It's like where's the avodas Hashem? Why isn't that avodah zarah? Why isn't that like the most basic type of avodah zarah? But yeah, we're all into it. Agav, they all say when I call them, because people ask me, should I go, should I not go? People have real tzaras. It's hard to judge somebody who has tzaras. They're looking for anything that's going to help.
Yeah.
But you call them, well, all the Rabbanim and Gedolim come to me. Well, can you name one? I'll call them. I just say, well, they can't. Never. They never can name one even. I've gone through this over and over and over again. Like they say, oh yeah, the Rabbanim come to me. At best one, not Kollel Rav. He just stops so and so, some guy I never heard of, goes to them. Yeah, look, when you're desperate, you want relief. I'm not. I was thinking I have probably my closest friend. He's one day younger than me. I'm from Rusa. We went together from Torah to Brisk. So huge Lamdan, a real Lamdan, and a real sort of a Litvische Lamdan. Like there's no messing around. Like everything has got a Voshte. So unfortunately, about a year ago, he got a cardiac arrest, and I went to visit him. Almost died. He was in a coma for weeks and weeks, and went to visit him. He's my age, and all of a sudden he's 90. He's walking on a cane, and he can hardly move, and his mind is still working very well. His goof is gone, gone. So somebody told him a couple of weeks ago. I call him once a week, and I learn with him a little bit. He can't see anymore. He says it's terrible, But I called him, so he said to me, "Did you ever hear of?" I can't even remember the guy's name. Some Makubal and Givat Shol. So he said, "There's somebody, a very chashuv, a person, a Rosh Kollel here, that he said that this is." She goes, so he told him, "I'm not into Makubal. It's not my thing." So he said, "No, but the Gedolim go to this Makubal." It's funny, I never heard of him. I guess I'm not a godel. But like, there she goes. So he asked me what my opinion was. So I said, I don't have a call. See what he does. So he did. So he called him. The guy answers the phone. The couple answers the phone. I'm not knocking him. I'm saying there might be Svarim and everything. So he told him that the first thing he has to do is scan his hand, and so that he can read his handprint. But then he told him, okay, so he's going to read his palm. It's fair enough that there is such a thing. But by the way, that doesn't help you. That just tells you whether you're going to live or die. I don't want my palm read. I got another 30 years here. I got 10 years. What happened to that wrinkle? That's a scary idea to itself. It doesn't help. I mean, just what does it help? It helps you do tshuva, I guess. But then he says to him, look, usually these things. Is what he told him. Usually these things is because your name. His name is Yitzchak. You're probably named after a certain person, your grandfather or something. You're named after someone, and that person did some type of an avera that you're here in some kind of a gilgul and you're suffering for it. I'll take it. That's either very creative, or he knows a lot more than I do, which is very, very possible. But I mean, I've been through a lot of this stuff, and I've never seen anything like that. So he says, well, what should I do? Change my name? So he said, no, you don't have to change your name. What you have to do is go in front of a Bais Din, and he said, I'll email you nusach that you say in front of a Bais Din, and when you say this in front of a Bais Din, so then you're separating your neshama from his neshama. You don't have to change your name, actually. It was a mekel. You don't have to change your name, you just have to separate yourself from that neshama, so that now you will no longer suffer with the other person. Now, so I was talking to my friend about this. So this is mamish what Nefesh Hachaim is talking about. Like you're going to go in front of a Bais Din, and then what? Like Tchias HaMesim here, it's going to happen. Like what's and I feel like and then if it doesn't happen, what? Okay, so he's a phony. Like or what? Like how does this work? But he asked me what I think, and I told him, well, I know what I think. I think that even if it's true, I never heard such a thing, read such a thing. Let's say it's true, let's ladiach. There's much that I don't know, you don't know, we don't know, like who knows? But he knows something, some kind of Messiah from his grandfather in Morocco. Let's say he has such a Messiah. But if HaKadosh Baruch Hu made it that your neshama is attached to his neshama, and that's what's like supposed to be happening, so why do you want to undo it? Meaning, like who's like what are you getting involved in when you're opening up the back of the computer? Like it says over there, if you open this, you lose the word to. Like don't mess. What do you do? What are you kriching and like? Let's say even I don't personally believe that it's even true, but let's say Hashem is toiv u'meitiv and is full of rachmanis, but let's even say that's the pshat. Like nobody knows why they have the Yisurim that they have. Who knows? Like we all have our things, our stuff. We all have our shtiklach. Let's say we figured it out that it has to do. So if the answer is do tshuva, like a Navi would say, okay, I'll do tshuva. It has to do with me. If for some reason I'm some kind of a gilgul or I'm some kind of so what are you messing with it? It's backroom stuff. What are you messing with it? So do tshuva. So but what happened to Tamim Tiyeh Hashem Elokecha? So all of a sudden, when you take and this is what he's saying over here, I believe that when you take the tzaddik or the makubal or the rebbe or whatever it is and turn them into a success machine, so then what's happening is I'm losing my whole relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Then it's just, it's a big Yetzer Hara. It was bigger Yetzer Hara in the time in biblical times, to go to a person who does kishuf and do it. Well, because that stuff worked. He says like, a lot of times that stuff works. Witchcraft works, and maybe it works. A lot, there's a machlokes in the Gemara Sanhedrin whether it actually works or it doesn't work. But this has nothing to do with it. It's not our business to make it work. It goes like life hacks. Like a life hack is like a workaround. I figured out how to get out of how to make my car go at 190 miles an hour. But it's not supposed to go at 190 miles an hour. You're not supposed to drive at 100. There's a reason why it was designed that way.
The same question is, so why do we take pills if there's something wrong with us?
So there's a derech of teva, which says that there's the way I understand it is that there's a shmiras haguf, and the body goes through different kind of like the Rambam says, goes through different types of deficiencies or loses things that you could actually pick up on a blood test or an X-ray. And there's ways for me to correct that, supplement it. I'm not doing something, first of all, there's no instant pill for health, either. It's not some kind of miracle pill. All those things are talking junk, So, but if I'm working on my health, so that's my chiyuv to do. If you buy your wife Leichter, silver Leichter for Shabbos, you expect her to polish it once in a while to show that she appreciates the gift, right? So that's something which is expected. So take care of your body, do some exercise, eat properly. Don't treat it like a piece of junk. It's a gift from Hashem. I hear it 100%. And medication is a sugya. I don't know, but in a chanami, like that makes sense. But and that it goes with a lot of tefillah. Every time you say take a pill, you have to say Yiratzim Milfanecha. There's a big tefillah that goes here. So I think that's it became very popular then, and I think it's also very popular now.
So what's your one?
Because Eretz Yisrael has a lot of this.
What's your one thought be when you go for bracha to a tzaddik or a rebbe? I'm coming for bracha. What should you be thinking?
Look, there's such a thing as a bracha. Yaakov gave a bracha to Shvatim, and Yitzchak gave a bracha to Yaakov and Esau. But
What's the thought then?
the thought is the same as Birchas Kohanim. That there is a way to bring the Shekhinah closer to the world and closer to my life.
It's not instant gratification.
No, it's not a machine. But it's not like you stand in front of the Kohanim and everything's going to go good. But there's a way to bring the Shekhinah into this world through the Ma'asim of Bnei Adam, and the Torah is Magal. The Kohanim, for instance, have this Kohanim Tahir have this ability, and the Tzaddik, obviously, you see from Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, they had this ability. So it's not like boom, like you were healthy. Tzaddikim suffered; their children suffered. Why didn't they just give them a bracha? I remember a grandchild of Rav Scheinberg was very, very sick, deathly ill. And I remember that the daughter, meaning the daughter of Rav Chaim, mother of the child, I remember ran into her father and was standing there. Ran to her father. He said, "You're a tzaddik, fix this." So what am I supposed to do? What do I want to do? Daven. What does davening help? I'll give a bracha. Like who's got the remote here? Like it's a distraction. I believe the key thing is it's besides for being possibly shtus, it's a distraction from avodas Hashem. So here he says as follows.
Okay, one more question.
Yeah.
It says, doesn't say tzaddik goes Hashem Makayim. There's a phrase. There's that, and it seems to say that they do. I don't know, dictate, but influence. Let's say that's
Influence. Yeah. I mean influence. It makes a difference. It makes a difference. But it's not Avli Ikari Shel Davar. Let's just go to the words here. Ikari Shel Davar. The main thing here is Ki Hu Yisbarach Shmai Acher Shabar Kol Ha'olamais. What's true is that Hashem created all the worlds, Shamayim, Atzilus, Bria, Yitzira, right? All the words. Baris Adam Acher L'Maisa Bereshis. He created the person last. Bria Nifla, and in fact we are Salam Aleichem. Bria Nifla. Koyach Ma'asev L'chol HaMachanos. We can, in fact, encompass. We have within us all of the Malachim and all of the Shemayim. We have a tremendous build. Shekola by Kol Tzach Tzachais Oireis HaNiflois V'Ailamais V'Echolan Al Yonim Shekad Malay. It's half-ludic to think about that. What the Bria? Let's not minimize the Bria of Adam, which has within himself or herself all of the kochos that are in the Bria. Meaning, in the end product of the Bria has all of the research and all of the technology and it's all in my iPhone, right? So it's all there, right? The whole Apple's in my iPhone. 100,000 employees. Technology, computers, all there. But so it's a Bria Nifla. It's in fact a Bria Nifla, the Adam, and has all of this in it, the Neshama. Shekol by Kol Tzach Tzachais Oireis HaNiflois V'Ailamis V'Echolan Al Yonim Shekad Malay. V'Chol Tavnis HaKavod Elyon B'Seder Pirkei HaMerkava. Not only that, but you see from the Nevuah of Yecheskel, as you're referring to, that even in the Merkava itself, the Adam stood in charge of everything. V'chol koiches hapratim nimtzoyim b'chol ilamas elyonim v'tachtoinim kulam nasnu koich v'chelich me'atzmusam b'vinyanai v'nichlolu boi b'misvar pratik ha'chaysev shabai. I want to skip the Zayars for now because they're just going to bring out this point that we are nifladik. Ma'ishamar b'Zayar b'Parshat Sazria. But what I want to get to is the Haggah. If you just skip to the Haggah, and because here he's going to, I don't want to leave the Shaar without explaining what's the problem. If in fact, like in other words, how do you work this out? Why isn't an automatic machine? If we're in charge of the Bria, why isn't a button that you push and everything becomes good? So he says as follows, that all of this greatness of man, zeh koydem achet. And this is a very deep thing. Adam, we have to think about Adam as he was created. All of this that we know about creation of Adam, vayipach ba'apav nishmas chaim, directly from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that he's sitting in the Ma'aser Bria. We're talking about the original Adam before he did a chet. That's what all of that is talking about. Vayipach ba'apav nishmas chaim. He's talking about Adam koydem achet. Now we are descendants of that Adam, but we're descendants of the Adam
with the chet.
With the chet. Like how you kollel az, zehaya koydem achet, like how you kollel az rak nikol ha'elamas u'koiches hakdusha levad. Adam harishon, before the chet, did you have it? Because in every edition it's a little bit different. And before the chet, it was pure kedusha. V'lo mikochos harad, there was nothing evil in him at all. This is such an important yesod to understand the whole Bereshis and the whole humanity. Aval acher hachet, once man did that chet, what happened? Nichlalu v'nisarvu b'gam koiches hatuma v'hara. Okay, remember, he ate from the eitz toiv v'ra. Now, he's going to explain. Obviously, we had a yetzer hara before, otherwise he wouldn't have eaten from the eitz toiv v'ra.
Would have been a malach.
But, right, how we did a chet. So how do you do a chet? So, but it needed a nachash to make us do a chet.
Catalyst.
You see, the thing is like this: like if we want to do a chet, like we want to talk lashon hara, we don't have to have a nachash talk us into us. Like no nachash. Sometimes there is, but it's not necessary. We can do it all by ourselves. Why? Because we already ate the forbidden fruit, and we already have this toiv hara inside of us. The Adam Arishan had so much toiv, and only toiv, and there was no taruvais at all of toiv hara. So to him, he needed an outside factor, which was the nachash, to talk him into it. So there was a yetzer hara, but in the words of the Mekubalim, it was yetzer hara mi bachutz. It wasn't yetzer hara mi bifnim. Once he ate, aval acher achet, nichlalu v'nisarvu b'gam koiches hatuma v'hara. Now all of a sudden I've got ra inside of me. I have tumah inside of me. I have the battles going on right within me. Umemela, and therefore, Eirav oisam ayidei gam b'hoi lamai. So now whatever I do, and I'm evaporating up to the shamayim, has in it some acid rain, right? It has some pollutants in there, which are the ra, which is within me, because nobody ain't tzaddik ba'aretz asher yasa tov v'lo. Once we took, there's always some ego. There's always some taruvos of ra. The Gemara says that only 4 people shouldn't have died. The Gemara in Shabbos, Nun Hey. I think Yishai, Avidavid, 4 tzaddikim mesu b'itiyai shel nachash. It was a gzeira. But it's not. Yes, I have power, but what am I putting into this power straight? I'm putting in an iruv of toiv v'ra. So he's not taking away, he's not diminishing for the power. He's saying, how pure is your power? And now it depends. Who inyan eitz hadas toiv v'ra. That's what the eitz hadas toiv v'ra means. By the way, let me just share with you. I don't know if he brings it or not. I remember, but the Zohar there says not only is what we do an iruv of toiv v'ra, meaning it's very difficult, if possible at all, for us to do something with 100% purity. We can do good things, but it's not 100% purity. And he can still be a tzaddik. It's not a problem. The Gemara says, "Sadoi say tzedakah b'dashi yichya b'di harei tzaddik gabra." Tzaddik doesn't mean you're not a tzaddik, But to say that you're sitting on the Kisei HaKavod like you're God and you're pushing buttons, that you can't say. But the Zohar says also that even a person who's a tzaddik, since we ate from the Eitz Hadas, Toiv V'Ra, so you could be a tzaddik 1 second, the Russia the next second, the tzaddik the next second, the Russia the next second, totally schizophrenic. You could change like a Balach HaMisapeches, like the Cherev HaMisapeches by Gan Eden. You can change in a second. Like we could have a moment of tshuva, a moment of tshuva. We could have a moment of rishus the next moment. Who knows? We're very complicated. Ba'inyan, ki koydem achet, before we did the chet, am ki vaday shahaya bal bechira gomer lahatis atzin l'chol asher yachbait. So we had bechira. It's not that we didn't have bechira lahetiv to do good. Lahepech chas v'shalom. Ki zeh tachlis kavodas kol habriya. Without having bechira, then what are we people? We're malachim. V'gam hiarek acher kachota. And the proof is in the pudding, or in the apple, or whatever. We ate it. We did eat the fruit. So there was some kind of yetzer hara. There was some kind of a bechira. However, it wasn't something which was driving us from within. The person unto himself was a holy masterpiece of creation. Everything that we did was kadosh. Everything we did was, in that sense, we were holy, like a baby. What does it mean, kochas hara? That was on the side. There was kochas hara on the bria. That's what the nachash represented. Kochas hara on the bria, but that was al hatzad. Ve'inyan bifnei atzmam chutz mimenu. V'haya, says the Reb Chaim Volozhin Baal Bechira, we had the choice. Man, that original man, had the choice likanei sel kochas hara chas v'shalom, to enter into the ra. Let's say there's a fire burning here. You could jump in. You have a complete free choice. You could jump in. Are we going to do it? It's stupid. But you have choice. Nobody's taking away from your choice. So that Aish is representing, in the metaphor, is Ra, and there is choice, but within me, my natural inclination is that I'm not going to do something which is going to hurt me. So the chet of eating from the Eitz Hadas was chutz mimeni, like an aish is outside of the person. L'chein, kishiratza sitra achra lachtiroi, when the sitra achra wanted to get Adam Arishan to do a chet, chutzrach, meaning the sitra achra's job is to bring like in a battery, there's a plus and a minus, to bring some more minus into the world. So let's get it right into the person. Let's do it right into the person. Chutzrach hanachash, he had to employ the nachash, to come from the outside of Adam lefatos. Like I say, when we want to do a chet, we don't need any nachash.
But Adam Arishon didn't have the nachash. He had Chava.
No.
She had the nachash.
Let's not go there. That's what he said. He said, my wife made me.
Yeah, right.
Like shuata. It's not like it is now. Right now, we want to do something wrong. Our fight is internal. Who are rights of nimshach lasses of it? Why are you doing that chet? Because I want to do the chet. Not saying anymore that the nachash told me to do it. My wife made me do it. This is like I want to do the chet. That the chet that came out of this, eating from the Eitz Hadas accomplished this. That now I took the ra from the outside and I brought it into the inside. And that's now all of the olamais change. There's a pollutant that's being evaporated by us. Kidas, Eitz Hadas. This is so beautiful that he says das. What does that have to do with das? Kidas, Perusha Hischabros. The word das doesn't mean knowledge like we think it means. It means chabrut, intimacy. V'yada adam es chava ishtay. Right, that's das. Das, on a Kabbalistic chart, is chachma bina. Das is the mechaber. So das is something which is connecting two things together. In my own psychology or my own cognitive ability, that's the way it is. I could have some information. See, a lot of Pais people have like a lot of information, but they're really stupid, right? So you have to have Bina. A lot of people have a lot of understanding, but they don't have any information. So they're deep, but they don't have any information. So the Chacham and the Bina has a Chibur, so now you have Das. So you want to talk to somebody who's a Bar Das. A Bar Das. So a Bar Das means you got it all together. You put the Chacham and the Bina and you put it into Das. Vayada Adam is Chave Ishtoi, all the times of Kedusha, we're talking about Das, talking about his Chaber. So when we ate from the Eitz HaDas, what was the Das there? The Das was I was Machaber the Raw into my goof. Ubechetoi shenim shachar pita ozni sarvo akoichos arav teichem mamish uchein ba'olamas zehu Eitz HaDas. Va'inyan mavur lamevin be'Eitz Chaim shar klipas noiga. This is clear if you read the Eitz Chaim, that's the Arizal and klipas noiga. Elo shekitzer sham b'inyan, he just writes too little. So when you always hear about the Zuhamas HaNachash, what you're talking about, which is in the venom of the Nachash, the venom is a spiritual venom which was entered into Chava and then to Adam, and that created within us an inner struggle. That's what happened in the Gan Eden. Umizat and from that point on, says Reb Chaim Volozhin, Garam al Yedeza, Irbubya Gedola B'Maisa, we are all mixed up with Toiv and Ra. We are complicated, mixed up people. Shekol, that the Gemara says, Al Tamin Ba'atzmacha, Joim Misascha. You can't trust yourself. You can't trust yourself because, even Yochanan Kohen Gadol, Shemesh Bekuna Shmonim Shana, so it means didn't do any chatoim for 80 years. So it's Soif Nasa Stuki, Haman Stuki, founder of Christianity, John, Yochanan Kohen Gadol, right? Yochanan Kohen Gadol, John the Baptist, so what does he mean al tamen ba'atzmacha? Because my atzmi I'm still a told of Adam Arishan that ate from the Eitz Hadas Toiv V'Ra. Something, it's not 100%. He said about himself. That's a very sensitive person who could say that about himself. Like my chet is coming from this is, because we're all busy talking ourselves into it that things are good. He said, Tom Matzman, you can't trust yourself, Shekol Maisa Adam Hema Bir Buvia Vishtanus Rab Moid Pam Toiv Pam Ra. Sometimes I do good, sometimes I do bad. Mishapich Tamin Mitoiv L'Ra, Mira L'Toiv. Flipping around. V'gamba Maisa Toiv Atzma, besides for flipping back and forth from Toiv and Ra, even what we do is good. Kimat Bilti Efsher L'Roi V'Olam Shtiakule Kodesh Zako Nakia L'Gamri. Can it be 100% pure? Blishum Natia Leza Pnio Machshava Kalo L'Garme, without any at all ego involved. V'chein L'Hepech Ba'amais Hasher Loi Toiva. It was an Indian, like the tzaddikim gave brachas like Yaakov Avinu right before they died. And the reason why he gave it right before they died, Zois HaBracha Asher Berach Moshe, Lifnei Moshe, Yaakov Avinu, Moshe Rabbeinu, why right before they died? Because that's your purest time. Like you're not hoping to get rich on this. I'm going to die on the last day of my life, right? So if you're going to have any purity, that's where you're going to have the purity. Even if you're a tzaddik, he says, very interesting. The same thing as if somebody does something bad. There's also an earful. There's always something good there. There's always something good there. Let's say you have a tzaddik gomer, never did anything wrong, never. Tzaddik gomer, never spoke a word of lashon hara. Tzaddik. Im kol zeh, even then, kimat bilti efsher klal shemaisa v'atoyim atzmam kol yimei chayav yu kulam b'shleimus hamitu l'gamri. How can we say every single thing that he's going to do is 100% pure? That there's no pagam. So, what he's saying is that to go to somebody and say that he's going to manipulate the entire Bria is to say that person is the person which Kimat wasn't created, except for Adam Arishan Kardim Achet. And even he messed up. Ki chet perushay chisaron ki yadua. So we have two new definitions. The first definition was das means chibur, and here he's saying chet means chisaron. A chet means that it's not 100% pure. You know, I just want to, we'll pick it up on Thursday or session, but it is like, just an interesting mashal to this. I think about it all the time. You know, somebody, I go there just all the time because I'm a rabbi. So, you know, but people come to talk about all kinds of things. Everybody. And I'm not excluding myself from this phenomenon. I'm just saying it's a phenomenon. So somebody will tell you that they want to move to who knows where, you know, and live there. Why? Because they like the hashkafa there, and the shita better, and it's not so bad to be this, and the kids come out better, and this, and, you know. And I think to myself, like, it's cheaper, and you want a big backyard, and everything else is. It's a philosophy which is built around a ratzon. I'm just giving an example. Ein davar oimed mipnei haratzon. Like it's such a once a person has a ratzon to do something, you can write a book explaining why I want to do that particular thing, and it's a good book. It's a good read, and it makes a lot of sense, and you can go slug it up. But quite often, in fact, most often, I find, like, I always find myself lately, since I got a little older, I find myself trying to find out and figure out, like, what's the nakuda. I'm not being cynical. I'm not saying that anybody's bad. I do the same thing. Everybody does the same thing. But it's like, here's an example of how people, and smart people in particular, can make entire movements. They can build entire religions. They can do so much based on an ego thing, or a comfort thing, or a money thing, you know. Like my father, all of a sudden, he said, if somebody says 3 times in a conversation, it's not the money, then you know it's the money. But the thing is, though, like, you know, like we you know, how many people have bakoach? I don't think it was even you know, I don't know if Aristotle, I don't even know if the Rambam Lahabdil had the koach to say that my machshava is 100% pure. It's driven. It's driven, and we need to admit it. Why? So we're smart, and we can make a whole pilpul about it. But, you know, and usually, by the way, at least with it's in somebody else, you can recognize it. It's very hard to recognize in yourself. But in somebody else, you be sensitive to it. And if something, I'm giving you Rebbe advice, that if something hits you as wrong, it's probably wrong. If something hits you as like a whole, you know.
First impressions.
Yeah, like that when it hits you as wrong, it's probably wrong. You know, there's something wrong with this. So maybe you have to figure it out, but there's something wrong. You can become sensitive to that idea. But it's that. But the point is, I think that's what Yochanan Kohen Gadol meant when he said, "Al tamen ba'atzmecha on Yom Yisrael." He built a religion based on what? Who knows? Maybe there was a drop of ego. Maybe he was insulted. Maybe, you know, kamsa bar kamsa charva Yerushalayim. You can make a whole chorban out of the fact, you know. So that's probably an example of who's so pure. So says Shlomo Melech, "Ein tzaddik ba'aretz asher yaseh tov v'lo yechta." The answer is nobody. We're not holding there, and that's why the can't go direct that way. Okay.